Insert mind-blown emoji, speechless emoji. Okay, I'm not actually speechless, but wow, Pakistan's champion squad announcement is eye-opening. After much anticipation, Pakistan took their time, and this is the result. A revamped squad that leans heavily, according to them, on experience. Fans were debating the opening spot, especially with Saim Ayub's recovery in question, but the selectors surprised us all by shaking things up in the name of experience. Now we have Saud Shakil, Babar Azam, and Fakhar Zaman in the mix for opening. I even asked Salman Butt on my podcast whether Pakistan would go for Imam ul-Haq, Shan Masood, or mix things up, making it interesting with Babar or Saud alongside Fakhar. Turns out they went the interesting route. Check out Salman's take though on what he thought Pakistan should open with. I'll link the video for you guys. In a surprising move, the selectors overlooked Abdullah Shafique, Imam ul-Haq, and Shan Masood, leaving the opening and number 3 positions wide open in their quest for a solid opener. Pakistan seems to be clinging to the past, referencing players like Sachin, but I'll admit Saud Shakil's street smart style and his solid defense against spinners are intriguing. Speaking of spinners, Pakistan's only specialist in the squad is Abrar Ahmed. He was underwhelming in the West Indies series on turning pitches, and what's the point really of bringing new talent like Sufyan Muqim and Faisal Akram to South Africa and Zimbabwe only to overlook them? I'm not totally against having just one specialist spinner, but can Abrar still be that mysterious spinner, or is that a thing of the past? Utterly unfair for Irfan Khan Niazi to be overlooked for this tournament. In T20s, his batting was sabotaged with bizarre promotions like Shaheen Afridi ahead of him in Australia. And then he was sent to the Strike Force camp led by Abdul Razak to practice hitting sixes in the hopes of strengthening the Pakistan's T20 squad. But now his talent will only shine in the PSL. And what about Mohammad Wasim Jr.? He was Pakistan's standout in the previous World Cup and has been left out of the squad. If the excuse is lack of recent game time, then Faheem Ashraf's inclusion is a mystery. Why is franchise cricket seemingly the main criteria for selection now? Usman Khan was picked for his PSL form in the T20 World Cup last year, and now we see Faheem Ashraf and Khushdil Shah getting nods for their performances in the BPL. If this is the criteria, well then there's Abrar Ahmed too, who's also part of the top 10 performance in the BPL. Compared to the other formats, Pakistan's ODI squad was shaping up well after consistent performances against Australia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa in the recent past, but these recent selections focusing on franchise leagues and ignoring solid international form undermines all that progress. This feels like a deja vu, with players who've been out of the squad for many, many months or years getting a shot based on favoritism or experience, much like the inclusion of Imad Wasim and Mohammad Amir in the T20 World Cup. On the other hand, Indian cricket fans finally have reasons to celebrate with their T20 series win against England. After a rough start to 2025, losing the Border Gavaskar Trophy, facing scrutiny over Coach Gambhir's tactics, locker room leaks, and lingering doubts about Bumrah's fitness ahead of the Champions Trophy, this victory against England is the perfect antidote. This young Indian side delivered quality performances that injected a fresh baseball energy where it mattered most. Abhishek Sharma was flashy at the top of the order, while Tilak Verma showcased his own set of skills, signaling that India has a lot of talent waiting in the wings. But Sanju Samson's fans are sure to be disappointed, as the series represented a missed opportunity for him, especially with so many talented players waiting for their shot. Surya Kumar Yadav, while not as impactful with the bat, showed his leadership skills with the captaincy. It certainly helps when you have such a strong pool of talent at your disposal. The next generation of Indian batters is looking promising, and I hope they don't get sucked into the prominent star culture. For me though, Hardik Pandya has been the real standout, India's true all-rounder. Whether with the bat, the ball, or both, he's delivered consistently in almost every match. In particular, his partnership with Shivam Dubey in the 4T20 was a game changer. And while Arshdeep and the spinners grabbed the headlines in the first 2 wins of the series, Hardik quietly played a key role throughout. Akshar Patel, Ravi Bishnoi, and Varun Chakravarti were excellent, providing timely breakthroughs and using the home conditions to their advantage, consistently outwitting the English batters. Arshdeep, despite not being the fastest, has stepped up and delivered consistent breakthroughs. His performances in the T20 World Cup was on par with India's best, and if you remember, got the better of Pakistani batters. And in this series, he was instrumental in taking the lead in the absence of Bumrah, Siraj, and Shami. I think he was only there for one game. I believe Arshdeep should be part of India's long format plans as well. While some might argue about his lack of pace, his swing accuracy and his ability to trouble any batter with his line and length makes him an invaluable asset. All in all, it was a fantastic all-round performance by India, with everyone chipping in when needed. And here's the kicker. This series victory came without Bumrah in the side, without Siraj in the playing 11. If Bumrah and Shami lead the pace attack, and with a deep roster of spinners to choose from, India's bowling lineup looks set to cause some serious damage in the Champions Trophy. On the other hand, England missed a golden opportunity in the 4 T20s twice to come back in the game. I get Butler's frustration regarding Harshit Rana not necessarily being a like-for-like replacement for Shivam Dube, but ultimately it was the match referee who accepted the concussion substitution, and England has no one to blame but themselves for their performance. Even if Harshit Rana's wickets are taken out of the equation, England has enough hard-hitting batters who could have taken on Harshit. Overton even hit him for a couple of sixes. Sakib Mehmood did a wonderful job early on by removing India's top orders, but poor shot selection let England down. I mean, what was that Harry Brook? He just seems to reserve his best stroke play for Pakistan. In my view, it's fair to say that England lost the series, or at least the chance to take it to the decider. Jos Buttler might have been a better captain throughout the series, but the English batters couldn't convert their starts into match-winning performances. The openers failed to provide solid starts, and the middle order couldn't finish the job. Meanwhile, Australia has been on a roll against Sri Lanka. After shaking off the mental block and winning the Border Gavaskar Trophy, they've been ruthless. Usman has been exceptional, scoring a double century, playing with such style against spin. And Steve Smith, who has now joined the elite 10K club, have piled up runs after runs for Sri Lanka to chase. The Aussie bowlers are applying a lot of pressure, and an innings defeat seems imminent for the otherwise spirited Lankans, unless rain, of course, gives them some hope. It's an exciting time in the subcontinent with a lot happening, and it will all heat up as we head towards the Champions Trophy. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I shall see you in my next video. Do subscribe and like the video in the meantime. Take care.